Hey, good morning, everybody. This is the professor with Day Trading for Success. We've got a pretty good group here today. We're going to be trading NVIDIA 1,000 shares for the RV strategy. So please read this disclaimer. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. This is an entertainment channel. So basically, we're teaching you through entertaining video demonstrations here. So make sure you seek the advice of somebody you trust, a licensed financial advisor, before you try to emulate any of this trading. Trade in a simulator till you're green, and then only trade with money you can afford to lose. So please read that. So I'm going to go over real quick with you in just a few. We have just a few minutes before we start. So for those of you that are new, I'm going to talk to you about what the God, guys, I can't shake this morning cough. But basically, the RV strategy is a range-bound strategy. So we try to find a range. The first thing we do is we get to the range. If I go into the daily chart, we look at the close of the previous day, and then under my picture, it's saying that it's $548.22. And you look at the ATR down here over a 14-day period, it's average. So if I hold this over that day, you'll see it's $14.85. You divide that number by 2. You subtract half of it from the close of the day to get the ATR low. You add half of it from the close of the day to get the ATR high. That is our range for NVIDIA. It's a big range. Now, the RV strategy only rated a 7 because of some of the problems we have with having this going straight up over the last week or so, 10 days. So there is a rating system to pick your stocks. This didn't rate that high, but we've had a lot of luck with NVIDIA. So that rating system can be found in Day Trading Volume 1, along with exactly how to go in and out of every trade, along with all kinds of other stuff. So there's actually a video I made about the book if you don't want to buy it, but I recommend you buying it, but it's on one of the episodes. The book itself, but there will be a link to that, as well as a link to the $1 Million Margin Club's author page. So it has all their books. The other book, I'll just talk about it right now, and then I'm going to be done with the books, is the pattern book. It's the pattern playbook book. The candlestick pattern playbook is a must. #1 bestseller on Amazon, like burning off the shelves. And the reason why is it rates every single pattern. It has a rating, so how much you can trust it. And by all these people that have rated, you can see all the different sources that they use. So it's really the most comprehensive rating book for candlestick patterns and analysis that has ever been put out. And you really should get that book. It also you can cut out flashcards and play all these studies and games to help you learn. So it's really worth the bucks if I were to promote any book. And the other book for emotionally handling trading, I would get Trading in the Zone. That's by a different author. So that's it for the book. So this is where you find your range. And then you want to find support and resistance lines within that range, ceilings and floors, ceilings and floors. How do you do that? Well, you do it 2 different ways. You do it by a few different ways. You do it by the Fibonacci level. So you open a 5-minute chart 10 days back, and within that 10 days, you're trying to find left to right, high to low, and you mark that, and you're going to get these yellow lines. That's the Fibonacci. It looks like there's only 1 in the range right here, which is why if it wasn't for this other range, it wouldn't have got a rating point in the criteria to trade this stock. But you also do it 2 days, left to right, high to low, or low to high. It's always left to right. And this got quite a few of them within the range, as you can see, because there's the ATR high, ATR low. So look at all those. So once you have over 3, you get a point to pick this stock. And then the other thing you do is you go to the 4-hour chart and you see where did that stock turn around in previous days. So you can see this is where the line starts. It's marked where it turned around, where it pivoted. Okay, so I'm about to show you what these open session pivots are right here, and that got picked up. That picked up this one right here. So don't panic when you see one missing. But anyway, so all these this is where the stock has turned around, where people are spending money or holding a position and waiting for it to get back. So it would make sense to mark that. Where is that? So that you know when you get close to that price action level over here, when you're at that price, wherever it is, you need to watch it closely to see, is that where I jump in or is that where I jump out? So it's a range-bound strategy with pivot points, and that's why you're marking these pivot points. I'm going to be trading on a 1-minute chart. I'm calling the ball for everybody else that's trading here as well, although they all take their own trades. Like I said, I'm not licensed, so I cannot advise them how to trade. But we all do trade in a group, and I do set up the charts, and then I talk about what I'm doing. So it's up to them whether they're going to do it or not. So that's the other thing I do is, so on this 5-minute chart, if there doesn't seem to be enough marked out on the 4 hours, you can see how we just dropped off the ATR. These are all the other days. So I can only mark the 4 hours a couple days back here. So I also marked the 5-minute chart for just the single days on the open session pivots. So if you go into one of these days, you will see if it's not being picked up by a 4-hour chart, a 4-hour line. I tried to mark pivot points. Now remember, in that book or on the video, it talks about finding a mean average for some of these. So wherever it didn't seem like it was being picked up, I picked it up on the 5-minute ones. And that's open session. I went back 2 days here, and I don't know why that's right there. Because this is on a 5-minute chart. That's why. Okay. So I picked up some of these other pivots that weren't already picked up by the fibs. And this is where I show you where I take like a mean average. Like right here, I'm kind of taking an average of these. There's a little bit of finesse involved in that, and that's covered in the book on how to do that. But basically, all these support and resistance lines, you respect them until you don't. Like look at them like they're all strong. And then when the price action gets near them, if they don't do what they're supposed to do, then be prepared to react. We also have the scalpings indicator down here. Let me get that set up too. We were on a different stock, so we've come over to this stock now. So everything's kind of skewed the wrong way here. So yeah, I'm going to be getting in just a minute, guys. I'm looking at this fib as a possible entry. So I'm going to short off this fib a little bit early. So that's at the 79. Yeah, it seemed like it bounced back up. That bounces back up. I'm going to try that right there, guys. I'm in with 1,000 shares. Now, everybody's trading 1,000 shares. That's the only rule I have to trade with me is that you all trade the same share size. We all do market order. So, we're not doing partials and anything like that. I'm not getting FOMO, and that's what that's all about. So we have now marked this out to try to make money on the RV strategy, and we're going to be playing these channels. Now, it may just go straight up out of here and I have a bad position, or it may go straight down and I have a great position. I'm not sure. Get this just a hair wider there. So it's just hovering here. So we can't go any more shares. We can't go any less shares. No problem getting filled here. Remember, you multiply these by 100, and then you can get 3 times with 3.7 times more shares filled than whatever it shows if you desire that price, and you're filled in 0.02 seconds. I'm glad somebody had mentioned that on a question on the chat, so I'm glad I'm putting that out for everybody so there's been some confusion about that. So I'll say that. I'll keep saying that so you understand how this works, how you get these orders filled on market. They want to make their money. They're making their money, remember. So how level 2 works is you guys are doing pretty good. Okay. Yeah, so the level 2. So these are the people this is what they're bidding to buy something. This is what they're asking what they want to sell it for. And then the middle is called the spread, the distance between those two numbers. And this is messed up right here. I see 1. Why is that not moving? Sometimes when there's a lot of share size, it doesn't reconcile very good, but that should be moving. 1. I mean, we're right here. So there it is. I guess it is moving. It's just a little, move because we're just moving. It's just a little skewed because we're kind of just churning in here with thousands and thousands of shares. But anyway, so they're trying to make a deal. The market maker is trying to make a deal between these two people, which is sometimes me. And then as soon as they make a deal, they reach a deal, which is all in a split second, they tack on money. And so it's like a toll booth, like a bridge with a toll booth. And they want to make their money. So they're going to make sure you get filled. They've got it all figured out. They're bean counters. They can make sure that they can get this done. It's only when you start to get in 5,000, 10,000 shares that you might have a problem, that you will actually slip down to the number until it gets filled, and that's really what we call slippage. So you've got to be careful with that. But yeah, so this is it did do down. So since it just hit that and bounced up, I'm a little worried about that, about this reversing, guys. So let's keep a close eye on this. So this has kind of been swaling up, and I think this is just a dip so that we can go long again. So let's keep a close eye on this. So it's right at the VWAP too. So it didn't make any kind of a flag here. This is sort of a ladder bottom, but it didn't complete the move. And we have another kind of ladder bottom right here. So oh, wow, okay, or not. So now we're looking at this 4 hour for support. So this has gotten a lot of support over here. You know, not exactly, but churning and slowing down and hitting it exactly quite a few times. Okay, well, it's still going down. Everybody's going short, which is good. This is a fib here. This is a fib and a 4 hour. Now, the Fibonacci lines are going to give you a little bit more support. Theoretically, they should, but this is another area where it stopped a whole bunch of times. Man, it's just really making a downward move here. So I guess, 90% of getting the day right is calling the very first trade right. It's one of the reasons they like to trade with me, is that I'm good at calling the very first trade right. So now we have a cushion to take chances. So we, really, I might have reversed here typically, but I'm taking a chance because of the strength of that move down. Look at that scalping indicator. Now, this is a free indicator you can get on our channel, Day Trading for Success. So I highly recommend you get this. This is exclusively here on this channel, and everybody is trying to adapt it to the other platforms because it's so good. So the green are the buyers, the red are the sellers, the blue is the volume. It's literally happening as fast as the candlesticks happen, as the level 2 goes to the time and sales, all within a split second. So you try to jump on the wave of that move. And so I would get out, guys, if it starts to break up into here. I'm gonna reverse. So I'm just waiting a second longer to see if it's gonna break up into there. It's bouncing on this fib, so it could be just like a springboard. So we've got to be quick if it starts going back up here. I don't think this is just going to go straight down, but it has another fib down here if it goes down that far. I seriously doubt it. But again, resting on this fib. So this is pretty well respected here. This is what NVIDIA did the other day, too, which is not typical. Usually it moves much quicker. We're doing okay here, but usually this is, it flies through these and then stops dead, then flies and then stops dead. So this is kind of a lot more churning than I'm used to seeing. There's some indecision about it right now. They think maybe this is as high as it's going to go. Wow. I'm going to reverse on that fib. What did I get that at? 45. Now, mostly so I could bank this and then get ready to reverse again if it keeps going down, knowing that I have a pretty big chunk of money. And you see how the way I trade, guys. That's how I trade. I'm also thinking that it might retrace back up. So that was a lot of move, and I have a lot of time to change my mind if it does the same churning here as it did right there. So we got a good 3,000 start. Is everybody over 3? Yep, it seems like we're all over 3. We're all nice and green. And now we're banking off this fib the other way. So now what was a floor resistance is now a ceiling resistance. So we're waiting to see if it's going to break through that now. Getting ready to reverse back short if it's going to continue to go down. This is just a little bit of a pullback to go back down again. So you're in between a 4 hour and a Fibonacci channel right here. 15 minutes shows a downward move. 5 minutes shows a downward move. So you can't get fooled by this on an upward move. You have to be very careful that we're not losing perspective, and this is just going to drop way off. So I'm going to look to reverse right here. So let's just see. So it's starting to pull down. I should have done it right when I called it. Now I'm not sure about reversing. So it's banking off the fib. Yeah, I should have called that. That would have been a nice little scalp. But now, it might get, room to go back up here again. So it might, I'm looking for it to, if it breaks through here, I'm going to reverse. So I wish I would have got it up here, but, yeah, that was some strong buying, which is kind of slowing me down from reversing. It broke off the volume from the sellers and it almost met the sellers' volume here. So there's a real battle going on here. I wonder if we're just going to get some like up and down off the fibs here. So you've got open session pivot here. You got a fib here. This is really going between the, if you really look at this fib and that fib, that's your channel, right? It's going between those two fibs. So if you're trading on a 5 minute, it would be easier. We did that yesterday with Tesla. Was more of a 5 minute trading strategy, or the new strategy we're developing. And look at that, So that's you can call this, but it is a downward trend still. 15 minute, 5 minute. So it's just resting on this, right? Okay, so this time I don't want to miss it if it's. So that's at 64, 546.64. So it's almost time to reverse right there. One more second. I'm going to reverse. I bank that. Banking off the 9. Wow. No. What are you doing? You're supposed to. Oh man, I'm going to take a loss there, guys. I didn't like the look of that. It looks like it's broken it. So, okay. So that was a bad trade. That was a losing trade, but not much. Remember, you don't want to have 3 losing trades in a row, because that means you need to step back and say, what am I thinking? I really thought it was going to go back down and we were going to use this channel. That's why we have these channels, but now it's broken the 9, the VWAP, the 20. It's a pretty strong move coming up here. See, look, you can jump on the wave here. Look at the percentage on the scalpers, and you get this indicator, guys, if nothing else. Remember to give us a thumbs up and to subscribe. We'll be continuing to make custom scripts. I designed this custom script, and then I got some help from some of our subscribers and AI, and we made it even better and better. And we, I have a bunch of other scripts on there that you guys can use for free as well. Yeah, so this is a great upward move. So we have the point of control up here. This is the volume profile intraday set. There's your point of control, or your magnet. See how it keeps getting pulled back up there? That's where most of the price action is, right? So that's the volume profile is giving you the average price action at that volume level. So it's kind of price action and volume combined. So, and then I have it set so it sort of tells you when to turn around, when you've left the area, so to speak, the high and low level of that. And then this green line and this red line are the high and low of the VWAP. So there's just different things you can set your setup to. And I offer all these free layouts you can get. You can download them. There's how to build it yourself. So make sure you check. Wow. Okay. So off that fib, I'm looking at that fib. I'm looking at that fib. I'm not going to ride past that fib. Remember, that's where I'm going to actually reverse right there, and I banked that. So what did I get that at? 69. So I'm 10 cents, a little bit more than, I'm actually 20 cents off that. Okay. Oh, well, you can't win them all, right? But that's, I didn't get the best position there that I wanted to get. Now, if it breaks up here, I have to consider that it's making a new animal, right? So I've got to watch out, like anywhere past about right here. That's 549 even. Yeah. That's a little scary if it gets past 549 even. Now remember, the even dollars and the half dollars are things you want to look at. I had noted to you guys earlier that this fib, if you just played the big channel, that the fib seems to be the big channel for us. So let's see if it's going to, these Fibonacci's are not, it's not just a random thing to mark these out. So having them set on your chart is a good thing. And you've heard me have the argument many times with people that say, how many lines are on here? Somebody said it looks like spaghetti, recently, which is really funny. I like that analogy. And that is what it looks like if you don't, well, it always looks like that. But if you understand why we have spaghetti thrown on the screen, then you will look at this a different way. So you can't just make a quick judgment. And one of the things I've noticed from so many emails with people and some chat, but a lot more emails, in-depth emails with people, how people that have been trading for 3, 5, 8 years learn from these different gurus a certain way. And maybe they're doing great. I don't know. But they just think that there's no other way because it's only that way. They taught me this way. They have a channel. They have 500 videos, whatever it is. I've had everything thrown at me. They have 1 million subscribers. Who do you think you are? I'm just like, nobody. I'm a nobody, right? No, I understand that. I am not a big YouTuber, right? So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to teach you different methods. So don't, turn the hate off. Just turn it off. If you don't like it, you don't have to use it. But I mean, there's always other ideas, right? So you can't just say, even the traders that you're talking about, if you ask them, they'll say, oh God, yeah, there's 1,000 ways to trade and people make money in 1,000 different ways. So why not have more tools at your disposal? Why not learn more ways? And then, of course, there's the argument that don't jump around too much, stick with what works. And that's a great argument. And it's one of the things why I have a hard time leaving this RV strategy that we developed in March, specifically for the channel to teach beginners and seasoned traders alike. Yeah, I don't know. I know I'm getting waving at me there. I'm holding is what I'm doing. So, yeah, I could have caught a couple of things here, but now you made me forget what I was talking about. But yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm thinking it might come swale back down to the fib, guys. So that's what I'm doing. But everybody can do their own thing, clearly. So you got to give it a little moment because it seems to come up, churn 3 or 4 candles, then go down, come up, churn 3 or 4 candles, then go down. So we've kind of seen a pattern develop here. Now, as far as calling out candlestick patterns, I mean, this was a tweezer move that should have sent it down, and instead it sent it up. So that's pretty scary. 3 white soldiers here, but not exactly. You got an inverted hammer here. Going it, this just turning it to go down, and it is going down. Again, a ladder bottom here, but not exactly sending it up. It did go up. This is a tweezer move that should have sent it down, and it didn't go down. So now I think the tweezers, if you get the pattern playbook, I think they're accurate like 72 or 74% of the time. So you definitely want to bet on them going the right way. But, you just, as soon as it doesn't go the right way, then what does it break out? If it doesn't break out, bail out kind of thing, which I know one trader that says that all the time, that I love watching trade, but it's probably wasn't started. But no, that's the other thing. It's just like, I didn't, no one person started these sayings, right? Who can say that they started it, right? That was another big discussion I had with somebody. It's like, well, that was started so-and-so. It's like, seriously? I mean, how do you know that? How do you know he started that? And even if he did start it, doesn't mean I can't say it. He doesn't own it. You're saying I need to give credit to a phrase? Whatever. All right, well, go green is my phrase. So whenever you say it, you got to give the professor credit. That's my phrase, go green. I'm going to own it. I'm going to putting it out there. I'm going to copyright it. No, I'm not. But I love that phrase. Go green, stay green, be a leprechaun. This is a great day, guys. So I'm holding for now. Yeah, it's stopping at the fib, so we're here. We're here. How close can it get? How close can I get it on this fib? Is it going to drop one more time? I'm going to try it right there, 09. So what's the fib, 04? So there we go. I'm waiting for it to go back up. Let's see. So where's my fail-safe? I guess I drop below this 4 hour before I get out. It kind of went down here before. So I'm calling my fail-safe. People say, where's your stop loss? My stop loss today is a $2,000 max loss per trade. But I don't strive to get to that and say, well, I got to wait till it's $2,000. I will try to figure out, obviously on the chart, where's the best place if it's not working for me. So I'm watching this action and getting slightly concerned that the buyers weren't stronger with the amount of volume as we turned around to go back up. So that's a little scary to me as far as following it all the way up. So you start to look for even dollar amounts. 47 is right there. Then you look at the 4 hour. Come on. It's just not going to do it. Wow, it will not let me mark a line there. Sometimes it just doesn't let me mark a line there. Watch the scalping indicator, guys. The sellers are going up here. This is not doing what I want it to do here, so it's not hitting it hard on the way. Okay, there we go. So can it break that VWAP in the 9? This might be one of these mini things we got to catch. I'm going to try to catch that off that 4 hour, and I'm just getting ready to go right back long again. So it's going up. It's going to go up. Okay, so if it hits up here, I'll just keep going with it up to the fib. I think it's doing a little bit of one of these before it goes straight up, but I could be calling this wrong. It broke 10K. It's been a good morning so far. My nut was 5. I knew when I traded NVIDIA I was gonna do way over my nut, unless I just failed calling these, which hasn't happened in a while, but it could at any point. Overconfidence is not good. Well, in that book, Trading the Zone, they talk about how you need to trust your confidence, and it made a big difference in my trading, as well as trading with the $1 Million Margin Club, because I would never do these share sizes. And wow, okay, so listening to them about, and rating my accuracy more on TraderView got me to have more confidence and higher share size. And when I started, I was a little. My fingers were a little shaky on the mouse. I kid you not. So we've got the fib here again. Here we go again. So this is just another little pullback. I do not believe it's going to go down here past the fib, but let's see. Look at the spread. My God, it's hard to get a good. I want it to dip close to the bottom of that fib before I just jump in. 4608. It's 4602. Wow. Okay. What did I get that? Oh, man, I saw it. Look at that spread, and it got me all the way up at 4604. Wow. That was. But I did bank over 11, so that's good. So we don't want to see it drop below here, or I must reverse. So here's our little action right here, right here. So that means if it continues, it's just going to go right back up again. So let's see. Or they might consolidate in here. I mean, nothing's obviously I'm trying to call a pattern, but there's no sure thing here. You look at these two sellers, they're really strong. They beat the buyers. So really it's showing here that it should go down. But we've got this big fib and this open session pivot and a 4 hour. It looks like there's 3 lines there. Is that really right? Yeah, there's an open session pivot, or is it just making it white? No, I guess the blue and the pink make it look white. Oh crap! Stop doing that. Here we go. Ouch, 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 ouch. You broke that for a split second. You broke that for a split second, my friend, and that is not good. Man, I feel I could have got such a better position to go long is the way I'm looking at it right now, rather than I'm losing money on the long. I'm thinking I could have wrote that down on the short and made more money. Remember, I have a $2,000 max loss. I don't want to get to it per trade, but $6,000 on the day, $2,000 on a trade. And it does look, it may be starting to go down. I mean, these are calling it a downward trend, so I'm on the wrong end of this, and it is getting to be a little concerning. I have a big cushion, though, so now I'm calling out my logic as I see it, guys. So anybody could do the same thing I'm doing here. It's not rocket science, right? So, and you saw where I marked the lines. Or clearly anybody could have marked those lines. So it's not like you have to be a special talent to put out these supports here. And, you know, as I call them, yes, there is a little bit of nuance into calling them, but they're all right here. Fibs are being very well respected. So you need to mark your share size in a way where you can traverse these channels. So maybe that's only 10 shares. Maybe that's 50 shares, where you're not panicking. Your hands aren't shaking. It's like, I can lose $20. I can lose $50. My max loss for the day is 200 or whatever it might be. Maybe it's 100. And then you're able to put 5 or 10 shares or 20 shares and play, play your averages for the next half hour to hour over this and see, and then start to trust yourself as you call these channels correctly. And that's what the RV strategy does, is it, it helps you know, it tells you when to get into ceilings and floors in the book, how to trade that. Day Trading Volume 1 is really, I'm so supportive of that book the $1 Million Margin Club put out. You should, I have a thing, you can follow their authors page, but all the other books, they don't talk in detail about how to do a strategy, how to set up your charts, how to then trade that strategy. And then they have worksheets and log sheets to follow it along. And then they have a companion book if you need more log sheets if you're following it along. So many people are doing that now for a strategy. Like literally, if it breaks this line, you should get out. If it breaks that line, you should go in. I mean, like literally example after example after example based on 4 hour, 1 hour, 5 minute pivot lines, Fibonacci pivot lines. So it's the only book I have ever seen that does that, and that's why I'm so supportive of it. So we're just churning in here. So I feel like I'm okay that I grabbed it on the fib, because it's going to take a while to lose me some money down here if it continues to drop in here. But it did the same thing here as it did here. So time is a waste in here. Let's make some money, guys. We're doing okay, but I have a little bit more time this morning, actually. So I was happy that we picked NVIDIA. It was a big vote for this. And there was some argument that people wanted to go 2,000, but not everybody can go 2,000 or wants to. Even if they can afford it, they don't want to get shaken out of a trade so quickly on their max loss. 2,000 is a pretty high max loss. I mean, most people have a 500, some 1,000. And then there are some that don't even put a max loss. I advise you do not do that ever. But you should always have a trading plan and follow that trading plan. And even when you get out with this big red number that you've seen me do, you're living to trade another trade. You're not just hanging on and hanging on and hanging on, praying and wishing and hoping it's going to turn around the direction you're going. And that's coming from somebody who has done that many, many times, screamed at my screen. I'm surprised I haven't had a heart attack. And, I'm over that now. But, learning to do I'm over that now. No, learning to do a plan and sticking to it is so hard. Because the other thing that happens is that when you're waiting for the stock to turn around, how did you get back down to 5,000, man? Did some bad scalping right there, huh? Sorry about that. When you're waiting for the stock to go the direction you want, you lose all those trades too. All the trades you could be taking, or you're just sitting waiting for it to come all the way back to where you need it. Whereas if you just took your loss, you could have got a bunch of short trades in there, assuming that you're batting at a 60, 70, 80% accuracy. Overall, if you follow your trading plan and your max loss is lower than what you plan to take profit per trade, like a 2-to-1 or whatever, you're going to have money at the end of the day. So you just have to remember to cut your losses. God, that's so easy to say too, and so hard to do. It's so hard to do. Look at it. Just respect this channel. This little channel right here with the big fib channel. Okay, here we go. This little big channel with the big fib channel seems to be the two channels that we want to try to trade. Try to get little trades in here and then a big trade here. We're bouncing. This is the VWAP right here. Some people call it the VWAP. I used to think that was only Canadians, but I was just ignorant. People, it's probably 50-50 actually. Thought it was one of those play on, accent kind of from a different northern part of the continent, but just ignorance on my part. And people let me know about it. Let me tell you. I used to, one of the many professions, I was an auctioneer, and I auctioned for the Points of Light, and it was a charity, and you'd get to go to the White House and stuff like that. It was kind of cool, and other things. And then I did it for Comic Relief, which most of you probably don't remember. And I was a big Comic Relief, which was to help the homeless, and I would do all kinds of functions for them to make money to help do the I had a reason I was telling the story. I hesitate to say the phrase senior moment, but lately I've been feeling like I should start saying that phrase. I think what it really is, though, Einstein, I know, I have nothing to trade here. I'm just sitting here, sorry. Einstein purposely, I'm comparing myself to Einstein. See the ego, the audacity, right? The story is, anyway, that Einstein refused to memorize phone numbers because they took up space in his brain, right? So whatever story I was about to tell you that was really probably wicked cool, I've now refused to store it. There's certain logic in there, I think. Darn it, why was I bringing up the auction thing? Oh, well. When you get older, and a lot of you know this, you have a lot of different sort of careers and side hustles and passions, and you end up doing more and more and more. And then when you talk to people that are 18 to 22, 25, even 30, they're like, how could you possibly have done all that? Hey, man, talk to me when you're hitting 60, and see, you're going to have a lot of experiences in your life and a lot of things you go through. A lot of the stuff that I learned early on helped me trade, even that had nothing to do with trading. And relationships and things like that you build with people. I'm kind of waiting for it to get to the fib is what I'm doing, yeah. But, this is hard to turn. I haven't seen it. This is one area where I might consider reversing and playing this channel. I'm just... it might actually now be making this move that I've been waiting for, so I don't want to turn around right now. Yeah, the scalper indicator has kind of been not helpful right now. It's just sort of churning along with the churning here. So luckily we were able to make our money big on this swing. You know, this one down, this one up, and this one down. That made us some money. Trying to catch another one here, and then if we get it up here, then we might be able to catch it down, although I'm out of time. Like I said, I can stay a little later, so. Okay, so look for this 4 hour. If it breaks that, then we want to try to go to the fib. So this volume picked up a little bit. So, I mean, it's at the top of the volume anyway. So there's no sellers here. Look at that. They're all the way down there. Now the volume's picking up with the buyers. So it could blow right through this 4 hour. $148 even is what you want to look at here. I don't know what's going on with this. It's not reconciling. This is very annoying. Look at this. This is what they're going to give me. Oh, and I'm not watching as that all happened. So it rejected. It rejected off that. Yeah, I'm gonna reverse in a second here. Is that going up again? That looks like it's going back. I don't think it's going to make the fib, guys. Yeah, this fat doji is telling you it's turning around. That's a pattern that's telling you it's turning around. So let's see what happens here. One little spring up there for 48 even is what I'm looking at. 48 even. I'm going to reverse at 48 even, guys. Looking for 48. There it is. What did I get it at? 47.96. Now, is it going to break that? It's heading to the point of control. This is 48.46. But this is what they're giving me between the spread. Yeah, and now it's looking like it's going to go up. It might still get to that fib, so I've got to be ready to catch it for the last, buck, so I don't get this to be $1,000 or something here. So I hope everybody saw that happening. This is speaking of a reversal. This pounded here. Okay, the sellers came up and the buyers just recovered, and now the sellers are coming up again. So look at that telling you it's going down. You would not want to reverse here, that's for sure. You want to be short because this is really strong. It just hasn't shown it yet, but it's telling you that it's really strong going down. God. Banging against here. Now, this could be coming up to be a flat top here, which means it could break out or reject. I mean, this is a good day to call it a day. I'm at time here. I'm not going to churn here for another 10 minutes, so I'll give this a second longer, guys, to see if anything's going to happen. Because if it breaks out, I'll flip around, and then we might catch a flush here. So let's see what is everybody. So it's like half and half for. That's mostly short. There's a few longs up here, but. So 3 times now, but you look at how that coincides, and the action is, the sellers are mostly winning here. So yeah, so that rejected off the top. The body is much lower now. The body is lower. So this is telling you that it wants to go this way. So the volume dropped down when the sellers and buyers were fighting. Now you've got the sellers winning out. I'm just churning at even money practically. And I'd like to get this to 15 if it suddenly shot down or shot. I just want it to go either way because I'll adjust my position immediately. You know, I'm just waiting for it to go one way or the other. It doesn't matter that I'm short. If it starts to go long, I'll just flip around. You know, and I might lose $200 or $300 and then get 1,500. You know, so you just got to be ready to move with it. I mean, it does seem like it's going to make a pretty significant move one way or the other because it does these churnings and then it just suddenly breaks out. Churn, 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 break out. Churn, 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 break out. You know, so even here, churn, break out. Churn, 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 break out. So all right, so this is breaking out down. There's 14. This is cover to get out, buy to get out. It's resting on the 9 right now. That is the 9 moving average. Those of you that don't know, that are new, I do have a whole bunch of screens around me. So I look around for, but I have it pretty set. So it's just like these 3 bottom and 1 top. And I don't really use the other 2 over here. This one on my left is kind of at an angle up and down so that the light can shine in for the video. Oh, come on. That was a good trade a minute ago. Really? And then I have another layout over here, the 3 computers, and then a laptop that I take with me. And then I have 2 other offices here that I go to. They're my businesses that all have setups so I can trade. If there's breaking news, or I get phone calls from somebody that really wants me to get in and call the ball or whatever, I can jump on real quick depending on what I've got going. I do try to keep my trading down to, here we go. Okay, was it going to break that, or is it going to just stop right there? And I start to think about, I'd like the video to say 15,000. You know? And that's a stupid way to lose $1,000 if it starts to go the other way. Going to break through that. Going to break 147, 547. Look at this. See if it breaks the even dollar. I'd like to see it break through that because it'll probably plunge and maybe get back down to the fib here. Because here's the swale up, guys. It just didn't make it all the way to the fib this time. But here's the swale up. So is that a lower high? You want to look at the trend going down. If you look at that, that's a lower high. That's a lower high. So maybe it's about to come down and do another lower high if we kept trading. Wow. There we go. 15K. Come on, brother. Let's get down there. Nice. Nice. Looking for it to get down to the fib. I hit 15 for a second. I probably would have lost that on the spread, though. I can wait a second for the fib. Give me the fib. That's at 546.03, it looks like. 03 and 04. That's not far if you look at this to get down there. So that's what the market maker is going to give me. You see the my hotkeys are set as well. I do trade hotkeys a lot when I'm not trading live for you guys, or those less and less because I'm mostly trading live all the time now, or trading for you guys, making demonstrations. I don't have time to do the other trade when I'm not doing videos a little bit. Oh, I know. I think I was saying I was talking about the auctioneer and the other things because I was talking about all the acquaintances you make with all the different businesses. That's the point I was trying to make, was that, and then you carry these friendships through the years. Nice. So it's getting all the way down to 146, 145, 145.84. I'm not going to let this go back up. I'm going to take it as soon as I see it hop. I'm going to take it right there. 15,780. Wow. Look at it go. Look at that. Well, that was enough for me, guys. It might keep going down. I don't know. So hopefully you guys like what you've seen today. Remember to give us a thumbs up and to subscribe. And I will be back with some more videos soon. And hopefully you're learning some stuff. Remember, trade in a sim. Don't try to copy anything here. Trade in a sim. Talk to a financial advisor you trust that's licensed. And then make a plan. Always make a day trading plan. Always get green before you try to go live with any type of trading. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.